all right, now that we have consent for the recording, I would like to welcome you all to the info session on building innovation procurement capability, where we are going to present the Innovation Procurement Task Force, what it aims, its goals, and how can entities and projects benefit of joining it. So without any further ado, here are the current members of the Innovation Procurement Task Force, which are projects Proceeding, Build, Health InnoFacilitator, and InnoBuyer at its core. And today's agenda, it's a bit packed, but I'm sure that is going to be quite insightful. So after this welcome and introduction, we're going to have a keynote speech on building innovation procurement capabilities by Robert Miskov of Pedal Consulting. Later on, we will jump on project presentations by Proceeding, Build, Health InnoFacilitator, and InnoBuyer. And I encourage you throughout those presentations, if you have any questions that are related to projects, please use Q&A session box here at the meeting, and then we will address all the questions in the Q&A session after initial presentations. Right after that, we will have a short workshop on best practices on innovation needs identification provided by Elena Lopez from TIC Biomed. And later on, we are going to have an open discussion regarding the workshop, but also anything related to innovation procurement. And basically, you can also, again, ask more questions and later on to conclude the meeting. Today with us are Robert Miskov, Luis Knight, Silvia Pauleya, Miguel Gonçalves, and Elena Lopez to give you more insights about the Innovation Procurement Task Force, but also projects that are being built into this task force themselves. So without further ado, Robert, if you may start the keynote speech. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robert Miskov, CEO of Pedal Consulting. And I was entrusted with this exciting task to give a brief keynote or introduction to today's webinar. I will share my screen now. Hope everything will work out as during the rehearsal. And we can start. I'm here mainly with my head of a coordinator of build project, but about it later. First things first, 5th of July, 2022, it was a very important day for European Union, for Europe, for us. Why? Because on that day, as some of you may recall, the new European Innovation Agenda was adopted by the European Union. And with this, many exciting things were unlocked and put in motion. Just like a lot has been talked about, for instance, about the Green Deal, we internally refer to this date as a big deal because it is a big deal for us. So my objective during this 10 minutes or less slot will be to somehow make you navigating or help you understanding what is the position of the projects that are working together on one big goal in this big ambitious innovation agenda. So first of all, maybe very briefly, what are the main goals of this initiative? Well, first of all, it's to really make sure that Europe will develop new technologies to address the most pressing societal challenges. And to do so, it aims to first improve access to finance, especially for European startups and scale-ups, matchmaking them with even better with private capital, for instance. And very exciting innovation is also around regulatory sandboxes where innovators, European innovators, can experiment with their ideas, thoughts in a safe experiment, in a safe space, let's say. And also what perhaps arguably the most interesting, at least within our team, initiative is around the regional innovation valleys that are going to strengthen and better connect innovation players throughout Europe, but also beyond. One exciting goal also is to train at least 1 million deep tech talents, with special focus on women innovators and innovating with startup employees stocks options, for instance. And the big finale, and this is why we are actually here, is to support also policy at the member states level when it comes to, and a big part of it is related to innovation procurement, because through procurement of innovation, many say aspects could be unlocked, public administrations could be modernized and create a much better environment for European startups and scale-ups to excel in Europe and beyond. To do so, this European innovation agenda is broken down or split into several flagships and also actions. I believe it's 25 actions. And one of those actions is dealing with innovation public procurement. Now, it was, I think, summer 2022, more or less the same time when 3 projects, which out of 4, which are currently present in this webinar, submitted their proposals as a response to Horizon Europe topic call. The big overarching objective was to increase the capacities of public procurers in Europe to purchase innovations. As a result, 3 projects from this call were funded. I will briefly mention our project BUILD, which is entitled Building Capacities in Innovation Procurement for Cities. Right after this speech, Luis, coordinator of Proceeding, will be presenting her project that she's coordinating, the title of which is Procurement Capability for Embedding and Driving Innovation. Then we will move to the French coordinator, which is coordinating the project InnoFacilitator, the European Facilitator Community, promoting public procurement of innovation in healthcare. So there will be this specific dive on the sector level. As time passed by, all these projects, rather than working in isolated fashion, started talking to each other, and also a new project which was funded or granted a couple months later, called InnoBuyer, jumped on board, and we started in informal discussions on what is on each and every's minds, agenda, objectives, and we started mapping some synergies. Making sure that if we are really working on something where are significant overlaps, that we can even make a bigger splash and bigger impact. And also on the other side, to try to see where the gaps are, so we can maybe shift our attention towards those areas which are not yet carefully covered. So here we are now, and this is the first, let's say, big official launch of. I would want to hope many similar joint initiatives, even though we've been now talking for, I'd say, 6+ months in informal settings, and we're really planning to make several joint reports, maybe more events together, and a lot of useful insights and capacity building material will hopefully be generated as we keep on working together. So this is where this webinar, or the initial idea, was somehow born. Initially, thanks to the new European Innovation Agenda, which was later on translated into calls for proposals. And now 3 + 1, so now 4 core projects are talking and exchanging views within the context of this Innovation Procurement Task Force that will be fully unpacked and introduced today. I think that's all what I wanted to say initially. I'm looking forward to insightful presentations, and now I will pass ball back to Daniel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert. I really like the analogy that the launch of the European Innovation Agenda was the big day for all of us, and that is indeed true. So without any further ado, Robert already presented some of the projects and speakers. So I would like to invite Louise Knight of University of Twente to present the Proceeding projects and what Proceeding stands for. Louise, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I've plunged into darkness. I'm trying to adjust my screen so that you can, that's better, isn't it? Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present the Proceeding project to you. It stands for embedding and driving innovation for procurement capability. It's one of the members of the task force, as mentioned. There are 5 partners in this group, 2 from municipalities, from Haarlem in the Netherlands and Gabrevo, and 1 university and 2 companies. Now, Pedal Consulting, you've just met Robert, and F6S are hosting this whole event. But let me also mention to you another key partner that's involved in our project. This is one of the Urban Agenda partnerships set up a few years ago, and several of them are now going forward into their 2nd phase. And one of the particularly successful partnerships was based around innovative and responsible public procurement. And that involves a group of cities across Europe, plus many other stakeholders interested in development of procurement within the city context. So we are working very closely as part of the project with this partnership and their 2nd action plan. Now, what are we doing in Proceeding? Our key premise is that there are 3 core constituencies involved here. We have the procurement organisations and the professionals working within those public contracting authorities. We also indeed have private sector buying organisations that are interested in promoting innovation. And then we have the vendor firms, which could be very large firms, but in particular, we're interested in SMEs and startups. And the 3rd constituency that we're particularly keen on in Proceeding is the educators and learners, the future talent to work within the procurement organisations and lead these innovation projects that we so much need for the sustainability transition. They're being educated in universities and colleges now. And of course, existing staff need to develop their skills. So we have a very strong focus on education and learning. We're also working with the premise that there's an awful lot of resources out there already available to support learners, but they can be hard to access. They might not be in the language you'd like them to be in. They might be behind a paywall. They might not be quite at the right level given your prior learning. So what we want to do in Proceeding is to gather together those resources, mostly working with resources that are already there, and make them accessible. We're also interested in developing some new resources, which is part of our legal frameworks work package, which is new trainings. And so we're very interested also in this sort of networking and stakeholder mapping, on the basis that we need to build the networks. We need to get this multiplying effect going across networks, rather than have each public contracting authority working in isolation. They need to work together and they need to learn together. So we're working across several work packages, which include the sort of future focus, looking at future leaders and the leadership of existing leaders within contracting authorities. There's a particular focus on cities that I've already mentioned, and green mobility and circular economy, but we're looking at innovative and responsible public procurement also writ large. And in terms of the outcomes and what we want to be able to do with and for procurers, and indeed vice versa, and indeed also SMEs, is there are several themes of activity. This stakeholder mapping and networking. Please get in touch with us if you're interested in that. We're building this resource base. We're at a stage where we've done the first wave of the survey, but we'd still like to hear if you know about resources. Please share with us. Even if they're behind paywalls, we still want to map what's where. And if you have particular interests or learning requirements, we also want to hear from you. We will be doing interviews shortly about for a white paper on leadership of procurement of innovation. If you're interested, if you're leading a city procurement authority or something, please get in touch with us. And if you want to know the results, register your interest. We are going to run a series of training interventions, both online and in person, starting in May. And again, we'd like to hear from you if you're interested. You can see at the bottom of this slide, there's Esme's contact details. We're also engaging with university educators, and we have a database that will be available shortly, which is designed to help people across Europe working in public procurement to connect with the educators who are educating in business administration, procurement, entrepreneurship, and so on. So to bring that together, we're working on this network of networks. The task force is particularly important to us, and we're looking to work with others on it. I think it's a very nice opportunity. We're advocating people should work across boundaries, and we want to do that too in our project. We're seeking to have impact through building capability, and I particularly like to flag to you the first of our training events under our work package for legal frameworks, which is all about circularity and sustainability in public procurement. There'll be some great presentations from prize winners in circular economy projects, a little bit of the concepts, and then a site visit as well. So if you're interested, you can see the details of our webpage. It's very easy to find us and to register. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Louise, for presenting the proceeding projects and the ways it aims to build procurement capability for driving innovation, and also to invite people to the study visit in Haarlem. Thank you very much for the insightful presentation. Next up on the list, we have again Robert, a man that does not need another introduction. So Robert, please, the floor is yours. If you can also put the presentation in the mode. Also, I would like to encourage people to use the Q&A box down there and leave all the questions that they have regarding the projects, which we will address towards the end of the session. Robert, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you also, Luis, for a nice presentation. I hope, Daniel, that you can hear me and you can see my slides.
Affirmative. Okay,
great, thank you. So welcome to Build, building capacities in innovation procurement for cities. As briefly mentioned, we see the importance of not only Build, but all 4 projects and many other projects which are in the territory of procurement of innovation from 2 different perspectives. At the strategic level, we really perceive that public procurement or procurement of innovation could definitely be used as a transformative tool to operationalize the complete recovery, resilience, and also relaunch of the economy, where we find ourselves in at the present time. But also it also serves as a tool to modernize, as I mentioned before, states and public administrations. And a no-brainer is, of course, that this is coming hand in hand with the creation of new jobs, new business opportunities, and in overall strengthening EU market capacities and capabilities. At operational level, this transformative tool for EU member states and administrations, it can definitely help to access new innovative solutions and products. Public authorities are serving oftentimes as early adopters of solutions which are otherwise not yet fully on the market or not scaled up on the market. And at the same time, they are supporting businesses driving this change towards a more digital, green, sustainable, resilient transition. And of course, at the operational level, the goal is to improve the policymaking process, capacities, human resources, and all 4 projects which are gathered here today have one common denominator, which is building the capacities. And let's take a deeper dive of what is Build actually offering. Well, maybe I'll skip this one slide because and there is a little bit of repetition. First of all, we're focusing on both sides of the equation, public buyers as prospective game changers, in a sense that they give a chance to innovative SME startups or suppliers of innovations to purchase their innovations. And but we're also focusing on the suppliers themselves. We are well aware of the fact that there are also many business support organizations or stakeholders in between, and we are not neglecting them. But if we had to choose our two main clients or customers, it will definitely be the public buyers and innovative startups and SMEs. In our consortium, we are covering directly 4 countries, Pedal Consulting being headquartered in Slovakia. We have 2 partners from Estonia, 2 from Finland, and also Netherlands. We have two innovation consultancies, Pedal and Civita, covering mainly central and eastern part of Europe. And when it comes to innovative procurers, I will definitely mention Turku, which is a part of various initiatives, including EU Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. We have Wallonia, active member in various alliances, networks, and they are collaborating very closely with the Competence Center on Innovation Procurement. Tartu City, among others, they are a member of Estonian Smart City Network, and City of Rotterdam, like one of the key partners in a Big Buyers group initiative. So what are we actually doing? Well, first of all, just I think a couple months from now, in September, I believe, we will be publishing insightful report called Build Insight Report, where we'll be taking a deeper dive at the market situation when it comes to public procurement of innovation. We just finished the phase where we formulated the value proposition for our clients, so procurers and also suppliers. And we will be now organizing soon, towards the end of the year, and then throughout the next year, various trainings, both national and international. We foresee also several staff exchanges where public procurers actually go to another public procurers, learn from each other, exchange practices, not only on what's working, but also what's not working, in order to have this first-hand experience directly in the premises of public buyers. And we will be also running a so-called final simulation exercises, which if done properly, it will really set public procurers on launching their first or another procurement innovation tenders. Okay, I prepared several other slides, but just for the sake of sharing them with you in order to have better overview of how our project is structured. Last call for action, please use this QR code. It will lead you to a quick online form where we will just collect your very basic details, and we will connect you when our time for the staff exchanges, trainings, also the mapping exercise comes, and you will be among the first ones having access to our fresh resources, fresh outcomes, and we will also give you a chance to, should you be interested, somehow feed our work, which is going to be performed for the still next 18 months or so. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the Q&A session and also to other presentations which are following now.
Thank you very much, Robert, for presenting Build and also the way it builds capacities for innovation procurement for cities. Next up is Silvia Paolella from Health Inno Facilitator. So Silvia, the floor is yours.
Okay. Does this work? I don't see anymore, so I hope so. Good morning, everyone. I'm Silvia Paolella, International Affairs Coordinator for Medicine Paris Region, and I'm here presenting Health Inno Facilitators, a European facilitator community promoting public procurement of innovation and in healthcare. To be quicker, I'll be calling it Inno Facilitator. So as Robert said in introduction, we are more of a sectorial project for we're talking about procurement of innovation in healthcare. And those are the overall objective of the project that has begun in October 2022. So just as our project colleague. So first, we want to foster and nurture a sustainable community of innovation procurement, increase the awareness, skills, and knowledge of innovation procurement, improve SMEs and startup capability to access innovation procurement, leverage capability among the buyers, enhance cooperation between public and private organizations on PPI, and promote the best practices, value-based procurement EU dimension of solution and new cooperation model. So as Robert and Louise said it very well, we have very common points, common objective. So we were very happy to be able to build this Innovation Procurement Task Force with this project. First of all, what I would like to highlight and how are we going to answer our objectives is through the consortium we have. So as I said, Médecins Paris Région is the coordinator. We are a cluster that represents the Paris region, and we have more than 500 members on the health sector. So then we have a Science and Innovation Link office in Spain. We have BICPA, that is another cluster in Italy, EURIGA, European Regional and Local Health Authority in Belgium. We have the network of hospital buyers in France, the RESA, that has joined with HEPA as affiliated entities. And we also have the European Federation of Hope and of Hospital and Healthcare, that is HOPE in Belgium. So first of all, what we wanted really to show is that the consortium represent all of the stakeholders with two clusters that represent the SMEs and the startup we want to attract, and also the public buyers with our other partners, and very professional in innovation procurement. So first, the heart of the project is the community building. So I really wanted to show you the different layers of this community building strategy we have. First, the consortium, as I said, as I introduced. Then we have an advisory board. But I wrote all of the members of our advisory board right here, with European cluster of clusters, CIBER, with Medtronic, with also HEPA, that is also represented in our advisory board, with Silo and EITFs. So we're very lucky to be able to consult them with everything we be doing in those 2 years of the InnoFacilitator project, and to see with them how we can evolve and improve in every step of the way. Then we have, and that's actually something we've been doing right now, is the advocators. And I'm very happy to say that the other project of the Innovation Procurement Task Force are our advocators. We have this KPI of uniting 20 advocators at the European level, and they will be kind of our how can I say, ambassador of everything we do in terms of our communication. So that's happening right now. And of course, the overall community members. So that's also kind of a big news for us. We have launched our platform, where the community will be living during the project, and of course after the project, thanks to the partner of the consortium and of our affiliated partners HEPA. We are able to open a sub-community in the Health Prox Summit platform, so dedicated to Health InnoFacilitator. You can see on the left of your screen everything that will be present on this platform, and how it will be organized. And you have a QR code that directly goes to the platform if we want to create an account. So this will, if I can just say a few words about it very easily, it's kind of a LinkedIn of InnoFacilitator LinkedIn, when every member will be able to post message, a document. You have all of the events organized by the InnoFacilitator Consortium, and I will go through that very soon. Our communication, and you will be able to see who are the member of the InnoFacilitator community. So that's actually the first time we've been talking about it, because we just opened the subgroup, and I'm very happy to be able to present this today. Then, and that's something that Louise said very well, one of the first thing we did with InnoFacilitator is to create a capacity building catalog. Also, that was one of our first tasks as consortium. And on our website now, it's actually linked to our third work package, led by our Spanish partner Silo. But on our website, you have now 31, if I'm not wrong, innovation procurement materials, training, webinars, and everything we have found, because the first question we asked ourselves is what has already been done how can we improve it? How can we do something different? How can we base our training that I will explain right now on things that have already been done? So that's already available on our website, and we aim to be able to upload it. And I hope, of course, alongside of our colleague of the Innovation Procurement Task Force, for we have kind of this common objective together. And to go through the webinars, training and coaching session we'll be organizing. So the InnoFacilitator project has this goal to create an accessible, dedicated training portfolio to improve skills and capabilities, as I said, as our main objective. We have 3 training packages, as you can see on the screen, that are divided in different themes. And I will show you right now. This is actually a screenshot of our flyers that you can find on our LinkedIn page. And you have here all the webinars that will be launched pretty soon, up to next month, I think. And we have you have all the theme of our webinar that be coming right along pretty soon. So this is our LinkedIn, our website. Don't hesitate to follow. All the information will be there, as well as the online community, and don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sylvia, for presenting the Health InnoFacilitator project. And of course, I would also like to encourage people to join the community. You are having amazing activities happening, and I'm sure great outputs are awaiting all of us here. So next up, we have Miguel Gonçalves of F6S and InnoBuyer project coordinator. So Miguel, the floor is all yours to present us the project.
Thanks, Daniel. Thank you very much for the intro, and good afternoon to everyone. And let me start my InnoBuyer presentation by a little bit of context. So we all know that a world of never-ending challenges is a world in constant need of innovation. And we all know as well that innovation is the driving force of economic growth. It's the key to develop new products and services. And also it's how industries can create jobs and improve living standards. And we know that one of the ways that big organizations, public or private, can be more innovative and adopt more innovation is by procurement of innovation. It has benefits from the demand side, to steer and speed up the development and adoption of innovative solutions, but also from the supply side, because it opens concrete business opportunities and scale-up opportunities and opportunity as well to create jobs and technical leadership. But procurement of innovation is not always easy. How do you define and describe a challenge, an unmet innovation needs, to ensure that it is properly understood by innovators? And not only understood, but attractive. How do you find innovative companies with the best experience, or the adequate experience and expertise and resources adapted to each organization needs? And if you find them, how do you monitor and evaluate their progress when they are co-developing a solution with you? And if you manage to have a good solution developed, how do you conceptualize and create terms of reference for a simplified innovation procurement? Those are all hard questions, and that's where InnoBuyer comes into play. It's a project funded by the European Union via the European Innovation Council, and it's being implemented by F6S, an organization in Ireland, Civita from Estonia, and TIEP Biomed from Spain. And in a nutshell, the project provides expertise and funding support for organizations to solve challenges in connection with innovative companies. And the project does that in 4 sequential steps. So the first one, we want to identify big public and private organizations with unmet innovation needs. And then after identifying them, we work with them to develop and describe their unmet innovation needs in a way that is attractive and understandable for SMEs. And then we help them to connect with SMEs to find the best solvers and best solution for each of the challenges presented. And when we do this matchmaking, we move to the 3rd phase, in which we fund the co-creation of pilots to concretely develop the solutions. And if the pilots are successful, we also support the buyer the procurer in developing the legal terms and conditions to launch an innovation procurement and a tender. And we have funding support, as you can see below on the slide, for each phase of the program. And generally, it's totally funded by the European Commission. We try to reduce the paperwork involved in each action to the maximum, and it's totally demand-driven because it's really based on needs from public and private organizations. So in terms of timeline, just to give you a notion of where we are, we have an open call for challenges in February and March. We received 55 applications with challenges and unmet innovation needs. We are now in the process of selecting 15 that will onboard in the Innovire program. From May to July, we will support those 15 challengers with expertise and training and work individually with them to redefine their challenges, to make them attractive and understandable for solvers. And we will also invite them to do an exercise of aggregating other organizations who may have the same challenges to get on board and be observers and be involved in the co-pilot phase. And then from September to November, we will launch a call for solvers to address the needs identified previously. And we will also prepare a training session and building capacity for procurers to learn how to do an open market consultation, market dialogue, and how to do sourcing of solutions. From December to February, we will evaluate the proposals from the solvers and sign a co-creation agreement with the selected SMEs. And then one crucial phase will be action 3, the pilot co-creation, which will have a period of 10 months in which the buyer and the procurer will work with the solver in the period of 10 months to develop a solution to address the challenge. And in this specific action, there is 58,500 euros only for the solvers to really develop the solution. And if the solutions are successful, then the challenger will have extra funding support to get the legal support adapted to the specific national country specifications to launch and prepare a tender to acquire the solution that was developed by the innovator. So there are several key benefits, of course, for challengers and solver. It's totally funded by the European Commission. There's funding support directly to each part. It's demand-driven. We are trying to reduce the paperwork, and there is continuous support in all the phases from the Innovire team. But not only that, Innovire as a methodology, an agile and demand-driven methodology, is also an experience and a methodology that we are evaluating and it will assess. And so along the way, we will learn and we'll share those learnings with the community involved. So we have our Innovire Ambassadors Network who will be involved in the discussion around how this methodology is being developed. We have the Innovire library in our Innovire website, in which we will share content about the findings and insights that came from the implementation of the project. For instance, later on this event, you will have the opportunity to hear our colleague from Innovire, Elena Lopez, who will actually share the first insights from the Innovire project regarding how to master unmet innovation needs. So this will be published on the Innovire library, and we also, of course, be present in the conference, training session, and workshops, and all this will be on our portal. And the Innovation Procurement Task Force that unites us today and from now on will also be an excellent opportunity to share these lessons learned and to also learn from others that are working on this common denominator of innovation procurement. So that's it in a nutshell for Innovire. Please feel free to sign up to our newsletter and follow us on social media and drop us an email anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miguel, for showing us the ways InnoBuyer speeds up the co-creation of innovation. Now we will have some time for the Q&A session. Of course, I encourage everyone to ask any question that is related to the project, but also questions that are related to innovation procurement or the Innovation Procurement Task Force, or the ways that you can benefit out of joining it or your project or entity in general. So I would leave us some time to go through the questions. We do have some communication in the Q&A session. People are really interested in the Haarlem study visit.
Danielle, could I ask a question of Miguel?
Absolutely.
Hi. I'm curious to know, when you selected the company or the requirements and then the companies, is that public domain information, or is it continues behind closed doors until the project's over? You're muted. Miguel, we can't hear your response.
Hi, sorry for that. Thank you. So it's confidential information. The ones will be selected will be published to the public domain. So the 15 challenges that we will end up selecting from our core challenges will be publicly available on our website as a pool of challenges, because we also will use that information to share it with innovative companies. The ones who will not be selected will not be publicly available.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Of course, other speakers are also invited to ask questions about other projects. If we are not going to have questions from, oh, sorry, Robert, now I see.
Yes, thank you very much. I will be a little bit selfish, because I'm asking this for the report that we're preparing called Build the Inside report. And I'm wondering if, of course, we really took a deep dive trying to understand mainly the barriers of procurement of innovation on both sides. So from the demand side and also from the supply side. But if you could maybe share with us, because I'm looking for one or two keywords really that we still didn't embrace properly. What could be, in your opinion, the biggest, let's say, still obstacles from the perspective of public buyers? Why are they, if I can use a little bit of exaggerated term, still afraid or a little bit keeping distance from fully embracing public procurement of innovation? So if you can share your perspective on this, I will be really grateful. Thanks.
And just to confirm, the question is for me or for another speaker?
No, it's for all panelists, because
okay.
I understand that you have different experiences. But if you could maybe list 1, 2, 3 major obstacles or bottlenecks from the perspective of public procurers when it comes to deploying procurement of innovation on a broader scale.
Hi, Robert, this is Elena. It's not my turn yet to speak, but I think that you made a really good reflection. And to me, I think that still it's quite a complex process and quite bureaucratic. Some of them, they just don't know how to do it, I think. And I think that projects like the ones that we are seeing here today, creating capacity building around that, are truly enabled to make it happen. And that's also why I think the European Commission is asking for so many projects around this topic. And I also think that it's key, the role of supporting organizations like consultancies or intermediate organizations specialized in innovation procurement to actually help them to launch those kind of projects. But that's my view. And as we will see in a minute, I come from The healthcare part or innovation procurement projects come mainly from healthcare, but I guess that would be kind of the same problems in all the sectors. I don't know what you think.
Okay, thank you.
May I add something there? Because I would suggest there's as well as the abilities and the skills and the confidence to innovate in the process in order to procure innovations better is the resource capacity. That's an inevitable constraint, and that choice to be able to put more resources on it depends a lot on the other stakeholders around the procurement department and the procurement team, not just up to them to improve their skills, but actually to be able to cope with the changing workloads that leads to.
Thank you, Luis.
If I had to add, I would say the complexity of the process and the time it takes as well to deliver in general. Those are also complex challenges that procurers face. And when we talk about innovation, innovation has to be produced, in a timely manner to deliver things that are updated and which is not really adapted maybe to the level of complexity that may be attached to innovation procurement these days.
If I can maybe add the last words to this question, the first point I wanted to make is also the difficulties around the red tape, the administrative matters around it. That's the first thing they tell us. But to end maybe with a positive point of view, when we launch, everything about our community, and now we're launching the call for advocates, there is not a lack of motivation. So this topic is interesting. It motivates, and we're really happy to see that, to notice that through our project, and I'm sure yours as well. So I think our projects are very important, to facilitate this process that can be difficult, as you all said, and especially in adding these European layers to the solution we bring.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much all for your input. This is a definitely good starting point for future discussions. Now, in order to follow up on the agenda, we will have Elena Lopez from TIC Biomed to present us the best practices on innovation needs identification. And later on, we are going to have an open discussion like this one. So I do truly encourage all of the participants to write their questions or thoughts regarding this topic or any topic that we have discussed earlier, so we can address it within the open discussion session. So without any further ado, Elena, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go. So I'm Elena Lopez. I work at TIC Biomed. We are a cluster organization working on the digital transformation of healthcare. So that's why I said that I come mainly from the health and ICT sectors. But on these best practices that I'll be sharing, I think we can find similarities across all sectors. We are also part of the Innovation project, and that's why we are very keen to share how we will work on this first action that Miguel presented that deals with the identification of unmet needs and translating that into a challenge that innovators can understand. So just to mention that we are also firm believers of innovation procurement as a means to economic growth and society's well-being. We believe that it has benefits for everybody. So for the buyers of innovation, it's modernizing the organization, increasing the impact of their spending, and overall improving the quality of the services they provide, which leads to more citizen satisfaction or customer satisfaction with more inclusive services and accessible for everybody. But also for the suppliers of innovation, and as it has been commented earlier on, our startups, our SMEs, what they lack sometimes in the earlier stages is first customer reference. And this is a great opportunity. It's a market that opens to them when selling their solution. So that when they go to another potential customer or another investor, they can say, look, this is my track of records, right? So as we said, benefits for everybody. However, we do think that for that to be really impactful, the unmet needs from the demand side have to be in the driver's seat because of two reasons. One is that even if we spend, or especially the supply side, spend a lot of money into product development and innovation, if they don't manage to sell that into a large customer base, the spending is pointless because the innovation will never reach the market. But also because we all know that technology push approaches sometimes, not to say most of the times, don't work. And for an innovation to have a really high success rate, we need to create a need that is interesting for the customer. So it has to be matched with the customer's interest. However, we do know that organizations, big procurers in Europe and in the world in general, that take care of important services like healthcare or education or transport or justice, are very busy on their day-to-day activities and perhaps lack the means or the experience to work on innovation. And that's why at Innovaye we have created a quick guide, very practical, with 10 keys for unmet needs identification. The guide is not public yet, but will be soon. So we encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter so that you get to access it as soon as it is out. And I will now give some hints on what the guides include. So I've reduced it to 5 keys for unmet needs identification for 2 reasons: because time is short, and also because you need to be motivated to read the remaining 5 points in the document, right? So without further ado, I will move to share these learnings from Innovaye. So the first one is, if you don't know where to start finding innovation opportunities, is our recommendation is to start with pain points. Sometimes organizations start wanting to explore the possibilities of technology as an innovation strategy. However, we do believe that innovation is nothing more than a practical solution to a problem. So start thinking what causes you pain, where you are frustrated, do you feel that there are inefficiencies or wastings of time, or simply think when was the last time that you thought there has to be a better way to do this. So this is a source of unmet needs for sure. A second key is to differentiate need and solution. And this might be seen as very straightforward, but when it comes to practice, it's not, because it is in our human nature to start directly thinking of solutions to a problem. And for instance, you can see this with a very silly yet very illustrative example. When you need to hang up a painting, that's the need. And when you need a drill. Sometimes when you need to hang a painting, you start thinking, I need a drill. Where can I find a drill? Is the shop open? So instead of that, there could be other solutions like special glue, special tape, a hammer and a nail, whatever, right? But we first need to stop, try to define well the problem, and then see, when you have the root cause well defined, which could be the best solution. And probably there could be several, and probably you want to test several when it comes to innovation. So on the first stages, we for sure have to be very focused on defining very well the problem. Our third key of best practice is to get your entrepreneurs on board. As you may know, the word entrepreneur is a portmanteau of internal and entrepreneurs, which means that you have, as a procurer, entrepreneurs within your organization, and leveraging them for unmet needs identification could be very beneficial for two things. First, because as they are involved in the day-to-day work, they know where the problems are. And second, because if you implement a solution in the future, there will be a very motivated person leading the process and spreading the word among the colleagues or inside the organization and fighting resistance to change. So you have a leader that is taking care of the whole process. As an example that I want to share with you, we have this health project with a neurologist. She was participating with us throughout all the process, from unmet need to finding a solution to co-creating the solution with a supplier and so on. And long after that project, she even became part of the innovation unit of the healthcare organization. So those are the kind of people that you really want in your team for unmet needs identification, but for innovation in general. The fourth step is to strive for impact. You should select the problems that could have a greater impact if they are solved. In the public sector, and especially in sectors like healthcare, education, there are so many problems to choose for, but the thing is that we have limited resources, right? So you have to make sure when selecting an unmet need that yours is worth the effort. And you may want to list all the potential impacts that it may have, like in terms of cost savings, in terms of satisfaction for citizens or customers, or employee satisfaction, or impact in the environment, for instance, decrease energy consumption. List all that and get feedback from your colleagues to make sure that you only select those unmet needs that are most relevant. And the fifth one, and this is one that we really like at Innovaye, is to get management commitment. We have really been trying to put that on the table on the Innovaye project, because sometimes we've seen in big organizations, there is this functional unit that has an unmet need or an idea for a project. They get the funding, let's say, for instance, from a grant. They work a lot on the solution, they achieve amazing results, but then after piloting, when they come and say, we would like to scale this up within the organization, or we would like to have something like this internally, then they, for many potential reasons, don't manage to get that. And then it's a waste of time, of resources, and also of motivation of the team that has worked on the process. So our recommendation is to get the management commitment on a future adoption as soon as possible from the very beginning of the process. It will be tougher because they are busy people with so many things going on, but it will get you farther if they are informed from the beginning. And if in that moment you don't get the support you expect, perhaps it's because it's not a priority for them, which is also information for you. And it means that you need to focus on other kind of problems, right? And as a bonus, we want also to share that we should try to create an innovation-friendly culture in procurers organizations. As we were saying in the beginning, they are busy with their day-to-day work, and perhaps are not as experienced when it comes to innovation as other supply side organizations. So even if the first unmet needs identification process are not very successful, or the results of the developed solutions are not as good as you think, it's a good way to learn and keep on trying until your organization creates a innovation-friendly culture. So that's it in a nutshell. So to sum up, start with pain points, differentiate needs and solutions, get your entrepreneurs on board, strive for impact, and get management commitment without forgetting to learn and create an innovation-friendly culture. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elena. This was truly insightful and precious for all the entities out there interested in actually dealing with procurement of innovation procurement. I do have a question for all the speakers here. Are you surprised by any of those unmet needs that are mentioned, or are you surprised that there is not some mentioned already?
So I was looking at your bonus point, Elena, and thinking about the culture side, and thinking I'm pleased you mention it, because that's one of the issues we want to pick up on in our leadership work package, and talk to people who are leading procurement functions within cities about how they can develop that culture, as well as the more practical skills and the knowledge needed to work within the regulations and so on. It's that organizational development side as well.
Indeed, Luis, I think that's a key point. For instance, in our experience, the ones that take the lead on the projects are clinicians, because as I said, we are in the health sector, but then that's why they need to go through the leadership of the organization and say, here in this tiny unit, we have this, and we truly think it can improve our organization, and we need you to back this and to support us. So I agree, it's key.
We do have one question for Elena already. So the question is how to attract entrepreneurs to participate in unmet needs identification.
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. So, for instance, things we've seen, well, I would generally say that provide incentives, monetary and non-monetary, in the sense that you could provide monetary rewards just for working on innovation. But even if the organization cannot do that or doesn't have the resources to do that, you can provide other types of benefits, like public recognition. Probably those entrepreneurs will be happy to be featured as entrepreneurs or innovators within the organization, or try to give them other benefits, like working time that they can actually devote to innovation. For instance, this is very clear for healthcare organizations, where clinicians have to work with patients most of the time, but perhaps if they get some hours off to work on innovation, they would be more eager to do that. So those kind of incentives, I think, are very good for attracting entrepreneurs. Hope I answer your question.
Thank you very much, Elena. While we are waiting for other questions, and while we encourage everyone to participate, if any of the speakers have some opinion on this as well, feel free to share.
So I'm curious, really thinking about what's similar and what's different when you go across different sectors and different contexts. So I mean, maybe if you're only familiar with health or only familiar with cities, it's difficult to comment, but do you have a sense of how, what are the key differences, especially in the context you work in?
For us, I would say in health that healthcare professionals are really motivated to do innovation, but sometimes they don't know how, or they don't have the channels. For instance, we had a project where what the healthcare organizations did was to open internal channels to receive unmet needs that could be solved via innovative solutions. And that's something that worked very well because those professionals were already very motivated to do innovation. And I was wondering if that's something that applies to cities or other sectors as well. I don't know, Luis, what's your experience on that?
The openness of, sorry, can you clarify the question?
Channels to submit unmet needs, whether the, let's say, bottom-up professionals are open to submit problems that could be solved with innovation.
I think probably the channels are not as clear as they would be in the health sector because of the role of the professional groups that we have in healthcare. But indeed, so quite often I will hear about how those channels are perhaps too powerful in some cases in the health sector, and therefore not involving the procurement agents and the procurement experts well enough, more just clinician through to supplier, missing out the procurement expertise. And maybe it's a different dynamic in a city's context.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they both have things to learn from each other.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you very much. We have another question coming in. I believe this is also targeted to Elena, but I would also like to hear opinion from other speakers. So where do you see the biggest pain points? In which sectors? For example, in water, circular economy, building, digital solutions, etc. So in which sectors we do see the biggest pain points?
To me, as I said, I'm mainly in the health and ICT sector, so I cannot really tell, but I would say that it's cross-sector, the challenges, because when it comes especially to public organizations, as we were discussing, they have busy agendas with so many problems going on, big organizations with different departments that sometimes are not so well connected, as Luis was mentioning. So I think it's one of the biggest pain points across all sectors is to bring everyone that needs to make a decision to the table. Because, for instance, if I take the example of digital health, just for this, you will need to have the clinicians related to that area. You will need to have the IT department. You will need to have the procurement department, probably also the innovation unit. Probably you will want to get the management on board, or at least middle management. So I think that that's quite of a common problem across all sectors, but happy to hear from other panelists on their experience.
Thank you very much, Elena. We already have Robert willing to share his opinion.
Just maybe open reflection. I fully agree with Elena that I think those innovation tenders that have cross-sectorial or character are really complex ones. But if I were to choose one, arguably I would not pick the health sector, even though I completely understand the level of complexities which are there. But my winner, quote unquote, would probably be the security related solutions, because there is this different level of confidentiality that the public authorities need to overcome, and also the suppliers need to overcome. We recently had one client which wanted to put their, let's say, or open this type of market, but in my opinion, the level of, and I could be wrong, level of complexity in the security sector is arguably the highest one. But I'm very happy to listen also other opinions, of course. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Robert. If any of other speakers would like to jump in, we still have a minute or two time to close the discussion. as well, if some of the participants would like to share their opinion in the Q&A box, feel free to do so. This is an open discussion. I will also like to mention that we are going to share all the slides with all the registered participants, so you can find all the relevant information and insights and future events and happenings in all of the projects, but also within the Innovation Procurement Task Force. So you can follow up and share also with interested people. I would say if we do not have further discussion points for now and for this meeting, I would like to ask now the participants if they are willing to join the Innovation Procurement Task Force after all the amazing things that you have heard so far. And I believe that you already have in the chat the simple form where we ask you about, of course, the project or the entity that you're representing. What are you dealing with within innovation procurement? And then we would, once you're onboarded, once you register, we would let you know about the future meetings of the Innovation Procurement Task Force, and definitely see what is the synergy between all the projects or entities, and how can we together build capacities for the innovation procurement. We will also share this link once again via email. And I see, Louise, you have your hand raised.
It was a mistake. I thought I was in Teams and I could do a hand clapping sign, but I could only raise it. So thank you for organizing.
Thank you very much, Louise, and all the other speakers for joining. It was really amazing hearing everything interesting about the projects. What are you dealing with? What are the goals? What are the future plans? So once again, Luis, Robert, Miguel, Silvia, Elena, thank you very much for joining, but also all the participants for listening and asking questions. And we hope to have you soon onboarded and of course, joining future Innovation Procurement Task Force activities. Thank you very much. Have a really, really lovely day and the rest of the week.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You, bye.